What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be taking a look at my recent video game pickups here in December. It's mostly PS4 stuff. I think I got one Xbox One game in there, but I'm excited to go over these with you, man. Like, let me know in the comments if these are things that you guys have played, if there's some games that you guys have heard some good things about, if it's trash and like, why are you adding this to the collection, or just kind of just give me some general thoughts and everything, man. This is something that I'm looking forward to doing, and I think we're going to do more of on this channel. So without further ado, let's get moving, man. Let's check out some games. So first game we got on the list, Final Fantasy, the Zodiac Age. And I'm so excited to play this, man. So I played the original Final Fantasy 12 when it came back out on the PS2. And the first time I played that game, I didn't much like it because of how different that it was from every other Final Fantasy that I played. And then I played that game a year or two later, still on the PS2, and I loved it, man. I got hooked. But I think that was around the time where I was like going off to college and doing a bunch of other stuff, so I never really got a chance to beat it or like work my way all the way through it. I think I made it past like the demon door and I got a sick katana, and like that's the last thing that I remember, right? So this is the new and improved version, right? The Zodiac Age has some different like gameplay features and enhancements. I'm pretty sure it changed the way that the gambit and the leveling system works. So like, I'm excited to just kind of jump in and give this game another chance. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Anybody that I know that has any experience with it or likes the Final Fantasy games usually says it's pretty solid, both on like a story beat level, because this game I think has like a lot more mature of a story than previous Final Fantasy games have had, because it has a lot of the political element and like the world building and that sort of thing going on. It's got Fran. You can't go wrong with Fran. And I've just heard a lot of solid things. So I'm seriously looking forward to jumping back into this. And that was our first one, man. Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. And I think that this is our only Xbox One pickup this month. So the next game we got is the Outer Worlds. So I haven't even popped this in yet, man. As you guys can see, oh, it's still in the plastic. Okay, it's not still in the plastic, but I haven't even had a chance to pop this in, but I'm super excited. This was made by Obsidian, and I've heard a lot of actually really good things about this, man. I've heard a lot about it being like surprisingly funny, like as far as the game being well written and having moments in the script where it's just like, oh, that was actually like, that kind of made me laugh, man. And sometimes it can be hard for games to do that, you know. I'm just excited for something that'll remind me of the glory days of Fallout. You know, that's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of this a little bit. Not expecting it to be to the same scale or necessarily have all the same level of choices and that kind of stuff, but just something to kind of scratch that edge, because we know how the Fallout series has been lately, right? Next up on the list, another PS4 game. We got Destroy All Humans, the remake, man. So I remember playing this junk back in the day too on the original PS2, and I remember it cracking me up, right? I remember sitting down with my cousin, and he was like a weirdo and he loved using the anal probe and just oh my goodness, man, all these memories of this game were just like coming back now, and I haven't had a chance to touch the remake, man. So I'm excited to really see what they did, you know, because clearly we know the graphics are going to be updated, right? But I'm curious to see if there's any like gameplay changes on like different balancing on any of the weapons, any added features or areas. I really don't know what to expect out of this, right? But I'm excited to come in fresh, man. And like, this game just harkens back to like one of what I consider some of the glory days of gaming for me specifically, right? Like that PS2 era has so many good titles coming out, and seeing Destroy All Humans kind of make a comeback like that made me really happy. And I was able to pick this thing up on the cheap, man. I found it for like a really good price. I think I got this on sale at GameStop. I know, don't clown me, but it was on sale at GameStop for like 10 or 12 bucks. So I was like, I gotta do it, man. Next up, we got the Uncharted collection. So these are games that like I had always kind of crapped on for a long time as like the generic AAA blockbuster type thing. And I don't know if I would say they're necessarily like my favorites, but I don't think I ever played Uncharted 2. I played these games in a weird order, and I don't even know if I've really ever completed them all like that. So I'm actually just really pumped to have this and to be able to like play this series from start to finish, so I can kind of hash out my own opinions of it, right? I always thought the weirdest thing in this story was like how they make Drake seemed like this lighthearted, wisecracking guy, and you murder thousands of people in these games, like the, what do they call the term, the ludonarrative dissonance in this game with how Drake is in cutscenes versus how Drake is in gameplay. It was always weird for me, but I'm excited to have this, man. Play it on the PS5. Hopefully the frame rate's higher. Like, that would be absolutely sick, and just really give these games a shot from start to finish and see what we think, man. So what do you guys think about the Uncharted series? How do you feel about this? And what made it even better is I got this game on sale at a pawn shop, dude. Got it for $7. Couldn't pass that up. This next one is mad random, so that, no pun intended. Mad Max, mad random. So this is another one I picked up at a pawn shop for $7, man. And I've heard that this game is actually a really solid Arkham style game. In the past, I have not always had the best experience with licensed video games because, like, I'm a gaming boomer, and if you guys know from back in the day, anytime a licensed video game came out, it was bad news. It's only really been in recent times where there's been almost a seal of quality on licensed video games, and people have been throwing money at them. Usually they were low budget, janky, cash in garbage type games, right? I heard that this is actually a pretty solid Arkham style game, so I'm kind of pumped. And one thing I actually really like about Mad Max, this is actually super random, but the universe and everything just reminds me of Fist of the North Star, which is funny because I know Hawktor no Ken, Fist of the North Star, was based off of Mad Max from what I've heard. So it's just those two worlds always kind of intertwine, and like the homie reminds me of Kenshiro, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this, man. But if you guys played this, let me know what you think. All right, next one we got up, Trials of Mana. So I actually played this, it's probably been over a year or so now, but the wife got me like a GameFly membership for a while, like that service where like you can rent games for as long as you want and play them. I rented this game for a little while on the Switch, and I really enjoyed it, man, but I didn't have a chance to beat it because I was like going through like my master's program in school at the time and a bunch of other stuff, and this didn't really have the time to dedicate to it that I wanted to. But the Mana series are just like super solid action RPGs, man. I love Japanese action RPGs. It's one of my favorite genres, and I'm just excited to jump back into this with an improved frame rate, right? I think I've heard that the PS4 Pro and the PS5 version of this game run at 60 FPS. So getting the chance to play this game in a smooth frame rate and really take my time on this and work my way through it with all the different characters, and just, I'm going to enjoy this, man. It's going to be really sick. So Trials of Mana, a pickup that I'm particularly excited about. All right, we got two more games. So next up, we got Biomutant. So any of you guys played this one? This game, I was curious about when it first came out, but I saw that it had gotten like a bunch of mediocre reviews and all that sort of stuff, and it didn't necessarily put me off, but like, I didn't know what to think, you know, because like I saw the front, and like I always thought the eye patch with the sword and the gun thing was pretty sick. But what really made me finally pull the trigger on this game was looking at the gameplay, man. I was surprised at how the company that made this, what was it, THQ Nordic, right, where like they put a lot of their eggs into the gameplay basket as opposed to a lot of like crazy microtransaction stuff and all that other kind of thing. And that just made me so happy to see. Like, I was surprised at like the complexity of like the gameplay system and like how the freedom and like of the combo system, like all the other stuff in this game. It wasn't what I was expecting, you know. I don't know, I didn't really have any expectations for this game, but that really surprised me. It took me back to the days of like the AA PS2 games, right, where they didn't have like these crazy budgets, but they weren't just like these gross cash in games, but those games that were made by like small little companies that like the games have their flaws, but like they do certain things really well and they're just fun to play, you know. It brought me back to those days and times, and I'm excited to see what Biomutant has to offer. So this is gonna be sick. And finally, man, as you guys know, I'm the fighting game guy on this channel, so Street Fighter Collector's Edition, had to do it. I ended up trading in my 360 copy just to pick this up on PS4. Just because like this isn't really a game that I feel like is has the highest population base on the Xbox. So now I have this on the PS4 as well as Steam. And like, you gotta appreciate this collection, man. It's too good. You have like the original Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting, Championship Edition, all that good stuff. Then it goes into the Alpha series where you get Alpha 1, 2, and 3. Then you get Street Fighter 3, right? Like Second Impact, Third Strike, New Generation. Like, there's just so much to really appreciate about this. And it just reminded me of how much I used to love these games and how good these old Capcom Street Fighter games really are, man. Like, they're just so packed with personality and love, and just this is really the series that like began to spark my love for like what fighting games are, you know. I think my first actual fighting game was like Art of Fighting on like the Sega Genesis or something, which is mad random, but Street Fighter is always going to hold a special place for me because it was my introduction really into like the competitive fighting game scene. It was actually Capcom versus SNK 2. So having this collection on PS4 is just something sick that I'm glad to have. And now I got a couple ways to play it with people, man, on PS4 and Steam. Guys, thank you. That has been the game pickups for December of 2021. I hope you guys have a fantastic new year. And if it's past the new year, I hope you guys have a fantastic 2022. Thank you for checking out the channel. I appreciate you. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take it easy.